All right, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Can everyone hear me? Quick tech check here. Can anyone, if you can hear me, if you don't mind, posting in the chat, yes or thumbs up. Perfect, perfect. All right, amazing. So nice to be here again. Hope you're all doing well. We are back at it for another webinar, and very excited about this one. Before we get started, we have registrants from all over Canada and the US, and I always like to know where everyone is from. So if you don't mind, please drop your city in the comments. Atlanta, Vernon, all right, Florida, nice, awesome. Toronto in the house, of course. All right, amazing, thank you so much. We like to keep these webinars short and sweet as possible. We want to provide as much actionable insights and value as possible in the most efficient time. And also, if you have questions throughout the webinar, I want to keep this interactive as well. So please post them in the chat and I will try and get through all of the questions as well. So throughout the 10 plus years of being in real estate technology and speaking with hundreds of the most successful realtors in the world, the one common characteristic that every single real estate agent shares, successful real estate agent shares, is their ability to build and nurture and maintain relationships. I literally ask them the one thing that makes up their successes, and the answers are always the same, and they're always built around relationships. So this webinar is a great one because it's a very real and practical way you can systemize the way you build relationships and nurture relationships with your clients and create a very genuine and organic process that allows you to grow and manage the relationships with all of your clients, whether you do 5 to 10 deals a year or whether you do 100 plus deals a year. The process and setup is scalable. It works no matter what your size, your team size, or how many deals you do. And closing dates in particular, this is, in my opinion, and probably everyone might agree, this is probably the most important date on the calendar during your client life cycle and your client experience. On the closing date, think about it. Your clients are either getting the keys to their new home or receiving the funds after a sale or both. And in many cases, this is a huge milestone in your clients' lives, right? So it's such an impactful date that you can build your communication around. And I've been there as well, someone who is not a realtor, but being involved in buying and selling properties. The closing date is truly always a very memorable day and one you often never forget as a client. And I'm sure it's the same for your clients as well. So with that being said, let's jump into it. Let's jump right into the demo here. Give me a second while I pop in my screen to share. All right, here we go. So in this demo, we're going to be, again, showing you how to build relationships around closing dates. And we're using a product, Nurture Flow. Nurture Flow is one of our newest products here at Web for Realty. What is Nurture Flow? It's basically a workflow automation tool that allows you to automate important tasks and follow-ups in a nutshell. What I'm going to also do is drop in a quick link here. You can see a pop-up right here. If you want to learn more, there's more details about Nurture Flow, some resources, some videos to get more details on it. Be sure to click that link if you haven't already done so. So I'll leave that there and you can close that if you need. But so Nurture Flow, it allows you to automate communication with your clients based on important dates, like closing dates, as per this example, which we'll be going through in this webinar, or any other day, like birthdays, anniversaries, inspection dates, etc. You can also delegate tasks based on dates to yourself or your team members or admins and set reminders for yourself and your team internally. So there's so many different types of use cases with Nurture Flow. So that's why I popped in that resource there if you want to take a look more or check out our website here under products, Nurture Flow. So getting into the demo here, let's jump in. So this is the dashboard of a Web for Realty website here, my test website. I'm going to click on Nurture Flow. All right, I'm going to create a campaign here. Select the contacts to add to the campaign. All right, so this is where we create the flow. So the central focal point of a flow surrounds a date. It always surrounds a date. 1 second here. Apologies for that. Okay, so we Nurture Flow, we're creating a campaign. Focal point is a date, right? So in this particular case, I'm going to select closing date. So now once you have a date, you can now create actions surrounding that date, whether it's, you know, before the date, the day of, or after. So using closing date, I'm going to create like a real life flow. If you want even the templates that I'm going to use or roughly which you can edit, feel free to message me and I'm more than happy to pass those along as well. So let's start creating this flow. So first thing I'm going to do on closing date, 5 days before. So I'm going to say 5 days before closing. I'm going to do a couple of things here. So first, you can do internal actions or internal communication to yourself or your team or to your client. So in this case, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to create send an SMS to myself. So you can have a bunch of templates here, which you can reuse. In this particular example, I'm just going to create a template. So I'm going to call this one 5 days before closing, description internal. And I'm gonna, so 5 days before closing, I'm gonna get a text message to myself basically saying, oops, reminder, you know, it's first name, so this is a dynamic tag, so the first name of your client or last name, closing is in 5 days. Now, for me, I think this is important because although the closing date is on my calendar, you know, you can integrate your calendar directly into your CRM if you're using Web for Realty, Lead Bank, and Nurture Flow. So all the dates are already in the CRM, but I think it's important just to get that quick reminder text message to myself, as this case, as a realtor, just saying, hey, Susan's closing date's 5 days away, just so it's top of mind, just so I'm aware of it, you know, other than it being on my calendar. So I think that's just an important little, you know, reminder touch point. And in addition to that, I'm going to send an SMS to the client. So I'm going to send an SMS to the client 5 days before. Again, I'm going to create the template. So 5 days before closing, and this one is to client. And this particular message is going to be something like this, like, hey, first name, again, it's dynamic text, just automatically put the client's first name here. Your closing is just a few days away. Let me know if you have any questions or if there's anything I can help with. You know, Costa and your name. So create that. Okay, I'm going to save. And now, so that's the first part of the flow. So again, quick recap, 5 days before the closing date, I'm going to get that internal reminder text SMS to myself, just so it's top of mind, it's fresh. And then the client will also get a text message 5 days before saying, hey, closing just a few days away. Let me know if there's anything I can help with. Just quick little touch points to keep that engagement going. Now, on the closing date, I'm going to send another text message, this time to the client as well. Create the template. So this one, I'm going to call it on closing date to client. And this one will be something like this. So it's like, hey, first name, congratulations on your closing. Let me know if you need any help with anything. Wishing you all the best. You know, quick little message. They know you're there. Again, this is all automated. So, you know, creates these little touch points and interactions, which enhances the level of service you're providing to your client as well. So I'm going to save that one. So now you can sort of see this flow coming together in a visual format as well. So we got that 5 days before. On the day of the closing, they're going to get a text. And to me, the fun part, the nurturing part, it starts after the date here. So after the closing date. And this is where the nurturing and that client service and the building of relationships starts to take shape with little touch points, as you'll see here. So I'm going to create another flow here, 30 days after. So I'm going to say, and by the way, you can, do weeks, months, years here. It's very flexible. So I'm just going to stick with days here. So 30 days after closing. I've been using text in all these examples, like SMS, but you can also send emails. But in this case, again, I'm just going to stick with text. I'm going to create an SMS template here. So 30 days after closing to client. And the message will be something like this. So, hey, first name, can't believe it's already been a month since closing. Hope everything is going well so far. Let me know if there's anything I can help with. Costa. So again, another quick touch point, nothing too intrusive, just little, nice little touch points just to keep that contact, that engagement going. So there's another flow here 30 days after. I'm going to do another flow here 60 days after. Again, sticking to text messages. I'm going to create another template here called 60 days after closing to client. And this one's going to be something like this. So, hey, first name, hope you're doing well. Just wanted to check in, see how you're doing. If there's anything I can help with, all the best, Costa. Boom, click save. So again, you can see this flow coming together now. Again, 5 days before the closing, you're going to get that reminder text to yourself just so it's fresh, top of mind. You can action that how you want. Client's going to get a text message before closing just to touch base. On the day of closing, client's going to get a text message from you with a personal message. 30 days after closing, another follow-up. 60 days after, they're going to get another text message, personal touch point. And now, after this, I'm going to do a couple things here, which are a great feature with Nurture Flow. So I'm going to go 90 days after closing. Instead of one time, I'm going to do it recurring. So it's every 90 days. I'm going to do a couple things here. So I'm going to do internal reminders. So I'm going to send an SMS to myself 90 days, every 90 days recurring. 90 days recurring after closing, internal. And I'm going to send myself a message like this. So reminder, get in touch with first name, last name. So this is just going to be an automated text message to myself that I'm going to get to remind me to, reach out to the client. It's, again, this is all about relationships, building relationships. You have to be very proactive with how you build relationships and the touch points with people. So every 90 days, I'm going to get this internal message, which is a quick reminder saying, hey, get in touch with this person. And then from there, I'm going to action that how I want. I'm going to give them a call, shoot them a text message, whatever the case is. But I know that, this is now a priority of mine. I have to do it. And another thing I'm going to do here is add this to my calendar as well. So I'm going to do the exact same thing, but add this to my calendar. So in my calendar, every 90 days after closing, recurring, this is going to be on my calendar. So a reminder, get in touch with first name, last name. So this is essentially a flow surrounding closing date that allows you to systematically, automatically build relationships, just nurture these relationships with your clients. And as you can see, it's so personalized where no matter how many deals you're doing per year, whether it's a couple or a couple dozen, it's the same process, it's the same systematic flow, which you can set this up, create this flow one time, and it works throughout any closing date with any client, essentially. So quick recap here of this flow. So again, 5 days before, I'm going to set up an internal text message to myself. As a reminder that the closing's coming up for this client. The client's going to get a text message as well with that personal touch point. On the day of closing, I'm going to send a text message to the client automatically. 30 days after, the client's going to get that personal text message. 60 days after, they're going to get another touch point. And then 90 days, it's all internal. So I'm going to get those internal reminder messages to get in touch with the client. As well is it's going to be on my calendar as well. So it's going to again be prioritized. It's a process, and it's all systematically in my flow. So that's essentially the demo. I'm going to sort of stop there and see if there's any questions. Actually, a couple things. If you are an existing Web for Realty member, I am going to, sorry, you wanted to try out Nurture Flow. I know I mentioned I'd give you the template, so please just shoot me a message or reply in the chat and I'll get that to you. And as always with these webinars, if you're not an existing Web for Realty member, we do have exclusive webinar promos, which you can claim and get 50% off the subscription for the first 4 months of service if you claim that promo right here. Cost for Nurture Flow is $10 per month for this particular product. Kim, great question. So yeah, with Nurture Flow, like when you create this campaign, it's all dynamic. So if you have multiple clients, so this Nurture Flow campaign that I did with closing date, this is dynamic for multiple clients. So any client in your CRM that has a closing date will fall into this flow. So you're creating one flow, but it's any client that has a closing date will get this flow essentially. So you're not just building this for one person. Hope that makes sense. Louis, the offer is the exclusive webinar promo. This one's good until the end of October. Kim, great question. So when I'm creating these flows, I'm very strategic and thoughtful with the messaging of the text messages because remember, you want to make it scalable. You want it to, no matter who the client is, to be relevant to them. So you want to make the wording as sort of neutral as possible, if that makes sense. Question. So you need to have a CRM with Web for Realty. No. So in a nutshell, you don't. So you can use a Nurture Flow without the CRM. However, there's so much more benefit and value of having them all integrated with just being to manage multiple contacts easier and all that. So the cost of the CRM is also $10 per month. Catherine, for any specific questions, please email support@webforrealty.com and we can definitely assist you with that. Great question, Maddie, about the phone number. I was expecting this question. So when you use any automated SMS product or SMS marketing, you can't use your existing cell phone number, so you do need to purchase a number, which you can do so right in the back end of your platform here. Phone numbers are $5, or yeah, you can actually add funds. So the minimum is $10, and you essentially add funds to your phone number, and you can add a number first thing. So you can search by, no matter what. Let's say you're in Toronto, you can buy a number that's available. So you first have to purchase a number, and then you just reload that number with credits essentially. And you can do that all within your dashboard here, your agent panel. There is a recording, so as long as you're registered, you will be emailed the replay for this webinar. Correct, Kim. So these text messages, they're not going to be your own your number that your clients are used to. You know, consider it like a second number that they could get used to, though.
Hey, Costa, I would just like to add to that for Kim. And Kim, that's not a limitation on our end. We wish we could use your number, but just the way the number system works, we're not able to use your cell phone number. Actually, no one is able to use it for a communication such as this. So you will have to register a separate number, but once you register that number in the agent panel, it is always under your ownership, and
You
anyone
will,
that
the
replies
purpose of
to
the
that
number,
number.
definitely, you can definitely respond. You will see it.
Can you hear me?
You can not only respond right within
Hello?
your dashboard, but you can also respond directly on your phone
Okay.
as well. So there's actually going to be there's a message section here right in your platform, which you can respond directly here if you get any messages. So this becomes like a chat screen, and it also comes to your phone as well. For text messaging, it is a credit base. So the more messages you send out, you just have to refuel it, recharge it from time to time. It's very inexpensive. We're talking cents per message. I can give you the exact numbers if you shoot me an email. Yes, Kim, in the example that I showed, a lot of these flows were text messages just for the sake of the example, but as you can see here in my screen, you can definitely do email as well. So, you know, for example, you can do email here to both yourself or send email to the client. All right. I think we're good. If there's any other questions, please contact me directly. Costa@webforrealty.com. That's my email. You can also email support@webforrealty.com. And I hope you found this helpful. Please share any. Oh, sorry, did I miss one? Oh, sorry, Lynn. Yeah, does it remind you to reload? So you can always check the balance of your text messages right in your dashboard. I do have to confirm if we remind you of that, but that's a great suggestion, and I'm sure we can accommodate that. Again, thank you all so much for being here. Hope you all found this helpful. Again, if you missed any part of it, there will be a replay emailed to you as well. And if you have any direct questions, feel free to reach me anytime. Also, more questions coming here. I like the questions. So, you know, if let's see. So, can I add reminders to a to-do list? Good question. So, I'm thinking there's several ways to sort of go about this, and I'm just trying to think of sort of the appropriate action here. So for reminders, again, you can set it up in your calendar to time block reminders. That's what a lot of agents do. Uh, However, if you're actually using the CRM lead bank with Web for Realty, there is a reminder. So you can actually set reminders for a specific contact. So for example, if you want to call Susan at a particular day and time, you can set that up, and then in your dashboard, you can have a reminders to-do list, which you can be right at the top of your dashboard here. So that's one way to do it. All right, everyone, we're gonna stop it there. Thank you all so much. Shoot me a message for any questions, and we will see you in the next webinar. All the best. Take care.